Good morning, welcome back to the fish locker out on the shore. Now it's about 5:30 in the morning, the sun has literally just come up and I've snuck out to go for a little bit of a walk. I've come out this early mainly so that there's nobody around. Go for a little bit of exercise just walking along the coast. Now, how could this not be your favourite time of day? I love it. I'm going to head up the way, follow on a little path, walk along the front and see what we can find. I guess this is why you should never believe the weather forecast. Now it did say that it was going to be clear after about 5 o'clock. As you can see, glad I brought my waterproof. It's lovely out on the bay there. A lot of the fishing videos that you'll see are just out the way. I don't know if you can see the ship in the bay there. A lot of the fishing videos that we make is just out there. But, walking around, things are just starting to come up. When you've got your nettles, your brambles are just starting to shoot up. It's a lovely time to go out walking because they haven't quite taken over yet. Bluebells are still out. The daffodils have gone, but the bluebells are out. Yeah, look. I do love bluebells. Been seeing an awful lot of white ones this year. I don't know if you can hear the birds over the rain here, but it's a lovely morning chorus. We'll get our way right round the end and then we'll stop and take a look at some of the stuff that we can find. I don't know if you can hear them. But that's goldfinches. Just a couple of them up there. When I was younger, we used to go out and try and find like birds' nests and things like that. Not for any nefarious reason, just because we found it really interesting. They were always really difficult to find, goldfinches, because they nest right on the outer reaches, the tiny little bits of branches, right on the very edges. And usually they don't nest until there's leaves on the trees, so you never see them until it's winter time and all the leaves have died back, and you're like, oh, there was a nest there. Yeah, it's usually like a little tiny cup of a nest, right on the outer reaches of the branches. A lovely looking bird, got a bright red face, and when they start flying they've got 2 flashes of gold, one on either wing. See all the bluebells up there? And if you look down here, this tree is an alder. And it's a fantastic place for finding a fungus called woodier or juicier. If we find some, I'll show you. That's a really well identifiable fungus. It's really tasty. Got some honeysuckles just coming out now. I love these. These are red campions. All of these white ones, they've got a couple of different names, called snowbells, or it's like a type of wild garlic. It's a tri-cornered leek. I don't know if you can see properly, but the cross section is a triangle, and if you could smell them, they do smell like garlic. Now they're not as strong as properly wild garlic, or the Americans, they're known as ramps. They don't smell as strong as that, but these are also edible, and you can tell because the cross section of the stem is a triangle. I don't know whether you can see that there, but yeah, all these white ones, you can see the bluebells up the back. So they're called allium triquensis something, but they're also known as snowbells or tri-cornered, I think it's tri-cornered leek. This plant here actually, now that we've stopped, is called Alexander's. I'll show it in a previous video, and it's edible if you get this one's quite old, this one's well into flower. Look, it's already starting to seed. If you can catch it when it's new shoots, steam them, it's like celery. But yeah, this was introduced to the UK back in Roman times. I think it's called Alexander's because it's named after Alexander the Great. These bushes here, you might not recognise them, well, right now because they haven't got any fruit on, but these are sloe bushes, and they have little round dark berries that you make sloe gin from. These wild gorse can be quite nice as well. Use the petals. Now if only I could have brought my fishing rod. Oh, it doesn't half look fishy, does it? Could have brought a little bass rod and some lures here, would have had a great morning. Said that way. These little pink flowers that you can see there and here and all the way along there, you see them? These are called sea thrift or sea pinks. They are a really hardy little plant and lovely. Lovely little burst of colour, aren't they? You can see the sun is literally just coming up now, and on these little outcrops of rock here, there and here, if you can see that, some of you may recognise that as being samphire. Now that's also edible, and it's rich in, I think it's zinc and iron, magnesium, vitamin C. If you break it, it does smell really strong, almost like a pine, almost that type of, like a real clean smell. I think it's a member of the carrot family. I think I remember reading somewhere. There's a good patch of it down here. And they love really rocky outcrops like this. Yeah. I will put the proper name, the Latin name of all of these in there, but that's samphire. What a stunning time to be out on the shore. It's lovely being able to get down somewhere like this. And look how clear the water is here. That's probably 5 foot deep there at least. It's like glass. Little areas like that, like further up there, would be perfect for wrasse. Either lure fishing or bait fishing on the float for wrasse. First light as well, it'd be perfect for bass. Got a little tide pools here, got some. maybe recognise that from other videos. Sea lettuce, some coral weed, juvenile thongweed, dog whelks and limpets, some top shells, this is called Pom Pom Weed, and you can see the rack there flowing about in the water. That looks like, yeah, it is, it's serrated rack. Could be the Mediterranean, couldn't it? Make a move down there, join the path back up, and then we'll start heading back. A lovely little sheltered spot down here, isn't it? Pretty nice little place to come camping sometime. Little tiny caves up there. I don't know if you can see that rainbow just forming. A fine morning's walk. There's some, it looked like some type of pipit. If I can get a close enough photo, I'll put it in the video, but they're just over fast. We'll find that path and make our way back up now. There's some wire weed, you can see, because it's like little floats on. Like gutweed. I get asked quite a bit if I can point out what's edible and what isn't, and I just keep telling folks, as far as I'm aware, now if someone can prove me wrong on this, I'll be very glad to hear it. I'm always interested to learn new things. There are no poisonous seaweeds, so technically all of it is edible. Some of it is just more enjoyable than others. Generally something succulent and green, I find, is more palatable. Other seaweeds are edible, like dulse for instance. Dulse is widely edible, all over, well, I'd say widely edible, widely eaten, should I say. If I can find some of that, I'll show you. It's usually bright red. Most seaweeds, all you need to do is you just need to make sure that they're washed properly. Now I would wash them in clean salty water. If you can't get it, fresh water I'll have to do. The reason I say salt water is because you want to keep a little bit of the salt in there. My personal preference. Whenever I find a little cave or a tunnel like that, I always want to walk through it. But that water's a little bit too deep for me, wellies, so I'm going to have to leave it this time. It's a bonny little tunnel, isn't it? You can see how hardy that sea thrift is up there. That is sea beet. I've had to climb up to try and get it. I've had to climb up to try and show you where what it is. Couldn't find any lower down. Wow, that was a pretty impressive cliff fall, wasn't it? But that made a hell of a noise when it came down. There we go. And it's just started to rain again. There's a bird of prey just flown down there. I love these. Just the new shoots of bracken. I think they look really cool. Or ferns are even better. All curled up like an ammonite. There, look. Like that. There's one of those white bells that I was talking about. There's a bluebell. There's a white bell. You can see, unlike the other ones, it's got a round stem. Exactly the same, just a different colour. I don't know if it's like a genetic mutation, because you can see it really is 1 in a million, isn't it? It's that big, it almost looks like a hyacinth. There's a little splash of colour with some buttercups. I do love buttercups, they are gorgeous looking. There's a young foxglove. If I can find some that are further on than that, it is a bit early for them. But if I can find one that's further on, they grow to be like 6 foot tall then. I'll talk about those in a minute if I can find a better one. Oh, someone's knocked the head off that one. Foxgloves, when they grow tall, I'll put a photo in here to show you what they're like. But foxgloves are one of the only few plants in the UK that is poisonous to eat. It causes heart failure. And now look, there's some of those tri-cornered leeks. See the difference in the stem? And we're back. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a swan flying. This is one of the problems with walking through wet grass. And my jeans are soaked. Oh, here is some cow parsley. So it looks quite a bit like the Alexanders that we saw earlier, didn't it? Apart from it's thinner and the leaves have got like thin serrations on. And the flowers, I don't know if you can see, are white. Now this is edible, although it's not very nice. It's got quite a sharp taste to it. You need to be careful when you're taking things like this or the Alexanders that you don't confuse it with hemlock. Hemlock is poisonous. This isn't. Hemlock is. There are big differences. Like Alexanders on these parts has got red ridges. I'll put a photo in here to show the difference between this and Alexanders. It's going to be nice coming down here in the middle of summer. So all these are honeysuckles. It'll smell gorgeous down here. There's some more cow parsley. This is, I don't know if you find it interesting, but possibly a useful thing to know. This is an elder tree. Elderberry. I pointed one out earlier on. I've been trying to find a bit of woodier, it's a fungus that grows on these, but generally it's in the middle of like damp woods. We're on the top of a cliff. Elderberry, as you can see with these flowers here, when those flowers go to berry, they make elderberries, which you make elderberry wine from. Also, these branches, they are, when you get a dead one, can you see it's just got foam inside of there. If you can get another stick and poke the foam out, it makes a perfect straw, like a drinking straw. Look, you can see where it's already started to go out with this one. All you need to do is poke a little stick through there and you've got a drinking straw. You can see there's no hardness to it at all because it's just got foam inside. Look. These bad boys, dock leaves. If you get a nettle sting, you break one of these up like that and rub it on the nettle sting and your nettle sting goes away. I don't know if it'll sing while I'm here, but there is a little bird at the top of that tree there. It's unbelievably loud and musical, isn't it? It's a wren. It's one of the smallest birds in the UK, and yet it makes such a wonderful sound. Gorgeous, aren't they? They make a fantastic nest as well. The males will have a territory of a certain area and they make 4 or 5 nests, and they're usually like underhanging on like tree roots or under some branches or the side of a bankside, and it's like a ball of moss and little leaves with just a little tiny hole in it. And he'll, like I say, he'll make 4 or 5 of these in his territory, and when a female comes round he'll introduce her to all of them, and if she likes the look of one she'll maybe take it, and if she's a bit snooty she'll knock them all off and go and find someone else. It's it's a hard life being a wren, isn't it? Yeah, I'm almost back now. Just stopped off for a drink, and just behind where I've stopped, look, if you can see, some more of that Alexander's. And you see, I was saying that those side bits had like red veins on, whereas the cow parsley didn't. Oh, some locals might recognise that, so you'll know where I am now. Oh, yeah, it's no secret where I am. The locals will know where I am straight away from that. But I've seen one person when I've been out. We'll make our way back down that track there. And then we'll head off home. Yeah, I'll do a sign off down there. This is something that I'm glad I've found to be able to show you. See these leaves and these plants here. You can see now that we've spotted them, there's loads of them, look, isn't there? They're called lords and ladies. There they are, all there. And you generally find them in like shaded, dampish areas in woodland, and they are poisonous. The leaves are poisonous, these plants are poisonous, and when this goes past this, when this goes away, you end up getting a long stalk. It's about that long, and on the top there's like a head of bright orange berries, and they're poisonous as well. So there's every single part of this plant is poisonous, so you want to stay away from it. It's everywhere, and all shaded underneath this tree. These aren't nice either. I guess all the bad ones hang out in the same place. I guess this is as good a time as any to say goodbye. You don't get any nicer backdrop than that. I've had a fantastic walk out this morning. It's the first time I've had a chance of going for a walk in a long time. I've had to do 2 weeks of isolation when I got back from work, and then I've only been home a couple of days. There's some Some blue tits just come down over there. Yeah, this is my favourite time of day. Really early on in the morning, just to go to sunrise. We've seen some lovely things. Pointed out a few bits of wild flora and fauna that I hope was interesting to you. Unfortunately, my camera's not good enough to really show you the wildlife, like the little birds and that. Maybe when we can get a chance to invest in some better camera, we'll see that. I hope this has been interesting for you. Get in touch with me and let me know what you thought. If you like the videos, please hit the notification button so that you get a notification when my next video comes out. I've been getting contacted by a few people who've said that they've not been getting notified when the videos are coming out, so they're missing some. I hope you have a nice day, stay safe, and we'll see you later.